Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Video Vantage. I am Haley, and I am joined once again by my co host, Mike. And today we are talking about how you can optimize your videos for SEO, specifically for your website. Mike is our SEO expert here at Biteable, so I'm excited to hear some of his insights. Mike, thanks for joining me for another week.
Yeah, it's great to see you again, Haley.
So, can you explain the importance of optimizing your videos for SEO? What does that do to kind of impact a website's visibility and rankings in the search engines?
Yeah, so I think, video plays a key role in any organization's SEO strategy, right? It's not a thing, that should be just done, flippantly, or, you shouldn't just approach it trivially. You should really be approaching video SEO just like you would approach any other type of SEO on your website in terms of like, does the content fit the strategy for the keywords you're trying to rank for? Does it support your business? Are you providing value, et cetera, et cetera? Those things that we just keep harping on every single week about, creating good, authentic, valuable content, right? I'll just keep beating that drum forever. But on the video side, it's really about doing the things on the landing page where the video lives to make sure that it can get indexed, right? So whether that's specific schema tags, and I can talk about that in a second in more detail if you want. Does the headline have the right keywords in it? Do you have your transcript on the page? So all of those things really kind of play into it. And I think the main thing where video really helps SEO is, there's two things really. One, it gives another element that can be shown on the search engine results page or the SERPs pages, right? So you'll see some ads at the top, and then you might see video thumbnails. Those video thumbnails might be on YouTube, they might be from your website, and then you get the click to the page. Google sees that they went to your site, and if they watch the video, that's more engagement on that page. So there's more time on the page. Maybe hopefully, if the video is good, the user doesn't go back to the search engine results and click a different link, because Google will see that too. So if you can keep a user on your page and provide them value, Google's like, oh, people aren't leaving this page. They're not going back and clicking something else and staying on that page. So over time, that helps your content and your site rank higher for those terms.
Nice. And you brought up the schema tag. So, what are some other key elements to consider when you're optimizing your videos for SEO?
Yeah, so I'll put a link in the show notes, and we can add this to the description for YouTube. But there's a website called schema.org, if folks aren't aware of that. And if you do a search there for the video object, you'll see dozens of different tags that you can add to the metadata on your page for that video. So things like a description or a transcript, the author, comments, comment count, the content rating, the creator, the date created, the headline, the runtime, all those types of things. All of that gives search engines like Google and Bing more awareness and context for your video. Any one of them by themselves, in my experience, don't necessarily aren't a silver bullet per se to help your video or your page rank higher, but it gives more context and awareness. And so the more of that it sees on your pages, the more likely you are to rank in the results.
Makes sense. And obviously, on a platform like YouTube, your video title and description are really important. Is it important on your website too?
I think it's just as important there. I think, so as marketers, we always want our content, our video content, to rank on YouTube. It's important to use YouTube. It's the second largest search engine out there behind Google. And so you want it there, right? And so putting your keyword or the search term that someone's going to be using into the title on YouTube is important. It's just as important on your website. And I think if I had to pick between where do I want someone to land for my video, I'd rather have them come to my website, because that's more likely going to have a CTA to then take them to the next step in my funnel, right?
Totally.
So I think, having a good title is great. Having a good description short description, an excerpt, if you will, having the transcript on the page. All of those things help, just like a regular text-based page, like a blog article or a product page or your homepage would have. So those same principles apply. It's just that the end of the video hopefully will engage that user and give them more of what they want. And I think in my experience, most people, in my personal experience as well, if I'm given the choice between reading something that's like 500 words or I can watch a short video, I might watch the video, right?
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So.
Now, it's actually the perfect segue into my next question about video transcripts. How do those help with SEO optimization, and how can they help the search engines understand your video content and rank it?
Yeah, so several years ago, there were a couple of big Google algorithm updates that really kind of started optimizing for like natural language. And so people used to, in the past, might search for like just 2 or 3 keyword terms, right? Now people will either speak into their phone and say a sentence like, how do I, and then they'll say the whole thing as opposed to just typing in like fix clogged drain, right? They'll
Yeah.
say the whole thing. And so more of that natural language that comes out of a transcript gets indexed and is more likely to be used by somebody else when they're searching for something. And so having that transcript on your page that has, 10 minutes of just natural conversation and talking about something is a huge win for SEO.
Nice. And I'm going to kind of jump a little bit away from our pre-planned questions here, so you may not know the answer to this. So if they are using natural language to rank that content based on your transcriptions, if somebody used ChatGPT to write a video script, do you think that would rank a little bit lower because it might not be the way a human would really speak?
That's a great question. So uh, there's Billy. Sorry, shaking her ears there. I think it will be fine for the most part. So I'm just going to assume, for the sake of the question, that ChatGPT or any other chatbot, in this case AI, actually gives you a good answer, right? Because
Yeah,
sometimes it can be confidently wrong, right? But let's just
absolutely.
say it's correct. A lot of these AI models, I think they're mislabeled. I don't think they're actually AI. They're
Right.
statistically thinking what the next word should be, right? So it's
Yeah.
looked at all the other content in its large language model, in its corpus of data, and it's just guessing what should the most likely next word be in to answer this question, in the sentence to answer this question. And so I think if the model has been trained well, it actually might give you a good answer. Now, it might not have the personality or the tone of voice in the message,
Yeah.
but if you've used a ChatGPT type of model to come up with a transcript, and you've read it and you're like, that's correct, I think it
Yeah.
has every bit of a chance of ranking as just a normal conversation would.
That's awesome. So now jumping over to backlinks, what role does that play in the whole SEO process for a video? So are there any tactics or platforms you should focus on when you're kind of trying to get those backlinks, or what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so backlinks are a great signal to search engines that other people and websites have found your content valuable and worth linking back to, right? And so backlinks will always be a great thing to have on your website. There are several platforms that will help you track how many backlinks you have, and if you've gained any or if you've lost any, and those types of things. In terms of like getting them, it's often, so there's like a slow and a slower process to get them. Like the slowest process is like just put the content out there and
Yeah.
hope that it organically happens, right? And it will over time, but it's very slow. The less slow process is hiring people, either full time or a freelance organization, to do the research to like say, hey, let's here's a list of websites we want backlinks from, because the website has a high domain ranking. It has a relevant piece of content that it would have a natural backlink to your page, type of a thing. and
Yeah.
have people just reach out to those organizations. And I suspect people listening to this and watching this have probably gotten those emails saying, "Hey, I have an article that you could link back to," and like you might ignore it because it looks like spam, or you might be like, "Oh, actually, I could use that
Yeah.
backlink," right, type of a thing.
Mhm.
Um, and so those are kind of the processes. There's no real automated way because it really requires somebody on the other end
Right.
to add the link back, on their website back to yours. So
Yeah.
um, it's a manual process, but it's worthwhile over time.
Nice, nice. And if you don't respond to the email asking for the backlink, then you'll probably find it in your LinkedIn DMs a few days later. All right, Mike, last question for you. How can we align our video optimization efforts with our broader SEO goals?
Yeah, so I think I would actually almost flip it around and be like, like, make sure that you have defined your SEO goals first, right?
Nice.
And so once you know what your overall goals are for your SEO strategy, you kind of slot in the video to support that and prop that strategy up.
Mhm.
And so as long as you have defined what your keywords are that are your priority for you and your website, and you're using those strategically throughout your product pages and your about pages and your blog articles, and then you're also using them correctly in your video content, I think you're setting yourself up for success. So I think that's the real way to approach it, is that, the video as a medium can really help support your SEO strategy in large.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much, Mike. That was very insightful.
Yeah, happy to help. Great questions.
And that wraps up this week's episode of the Video Vantage. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Thanks again, Mike.
All right, thanks, Haley.
Bye, everyone.